Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. First of all, if you're new here, if this is the first video you are watching from me, I try to post a new book review every single day. So if you're looking for some reading inspiration, you want to know about new books, or you want to see other people's opinions on books, then maybe stick around. Now let's talk about today's book, which is volume 5 in the series that I have been reading, Heaven's Design Team. So Heaven's Design Team was a series that I started reading a little bit ago, but then someone, I think, lost some books from my local library system, so I had to wait. So I read volumes 1 through 3, I took quite a long break, and then I realized my library had reordered and received volumes 4, 5, and 6, so I was able to check those books out and read them. So now I'm rereading 4, 5, or I'm reading for the first time 4, 5, and 6, and we are on volume 5. Heaven's Design Team, if you're not familiar with the book or the series up to this point, there really isn't a whole lot of plot going on, so I would say you wouldn't really have had to have read volumes 1 through 4, if that makes sense, to enjoy volume 5, but maybe I would just in case. So the premise of Heaven's Design Team is God needs to create a bunch of animals, but he's kind of going to push that work off onto his designers. So he has a design team, Heaven's Design Team, which is overseen by an angel, and this team is tasked, here's the angel and his supervisor, but these individuals are tasked with creating animals. God will give some parameters, like I want an animal that's super tall, or only eats prickly things, or I'm just making these up, but he will give a concept or some guidelines, and then the design team has to take those guidelines and try to make an animal that will actually live under Earth conditions. So as you can see from the inside cover, we have a whole cast of characters, and the focus on this series is less about the plot and more about the animal development. So there's not really a whole lot needed to kind of push the story along. In this series, each chapter kind of focuses on the development of one or more animals. So they're usually given a problem and the team has to come together to figure out how to make an animal that works on Earth. And at the end of the development phase, they wind up with an animal that exists or in the past has existed on Earth's planet. So it's kind of a little biology lesson, a little collection of fun animal facts told through the medium of this manga series, and it's really enjoyable and really worth reading. Something that I have noticed when reading these volumes, so I read volume 4 and now I'm reading volume 5, is this is a series that I feel like takes a while to get into, and I don't mean that you need to read volumes 1 and 2 or 3 before it gets really, really good, as I know is sometimes the case with manga. I personally find that sometimes the first couple volumes in a manga series tend to be a little weaker than the rest of the series, but each volume, so like if you're reading volume 5 and you just start reading the first couple pages, I feel like they always take a little bit to get into, and that might be due to the lack of plot. I don't think that the lack of plot is necessarily a bad thing, because I don't think, and when I mean lack of plot, I mean there's nothing outside that's pushing the story forward. There's not an evil wizard in the castle they're trying to defeat. It's not a love triangle that's trying to be resolved. This is just kind of the day-to-day life of these designers designing animals. I don't think that necessarily makes it weak. I just think there's not like a cohesive story that pushes the plot forward. So when you're reading this series, I feel like each chapter kind of starts with like the humdrum. Each one is kind of the day-to-day life of building these animals, but I feel like the more pages you read consecutively, the more sucked in you get. So it's not like there's a certain volume in the series where things start getting interesting. I really feel like these volumes should be read like more or less in one sitting. At least that's my personal opinion. When I read these, I feel like the first couple pages I'm reading, I'm like, it's fine, but then I kind of fall into a rhythm with reading it and I really start to enjoy it and I read the rest of the series. So I am trying to read these all in one sitting if I can, because I just personally find with this series, for me, it just works better. I get sucked in. I really enjoy learning about the animals and the facts, and the more I read in one sitting, the better it is. I did notice this with volume 5 because I had to put this down, so I would read a little bit, put it down, read a little bit, put it down, and then I read maybe 30% of it in that stop-go manner, and then I read the other 70% in one sitting, and I enjoyed that 70% more, and that's just something I've noticed with the series. So when I read the next volume in the series, I'm going to read it all in one sitting, so I don't have to worry about that. I just feel like the story works better. I really enjoyed that the series is also able to bring out fun animal facts on a wide variety of animals. They don't just stick them or limit themselves to the well-known mammals in the world. They really try to bring in a wide variety of animals, including things that we may not think of as important, like this little Pacific black dragon, or things that we don't think of in our day-to-day life, I should say. It's not all like elephants, and camels and stuff like that, but we have things like the stick insect. So they're really able to draw out a wide coral. They're able to draw out a wide variety of facts from a wide variety of animals. And then of course at the end of each chapter, they have a little encyclopedia entry on the animals that were discussed in the chapter. They have the drawing from the manga and then a real picture, which I really, really enjoy. I'm liking this series. I think it's really fun. I think it kind of gives a way for me to feel like I'm reading something educational while also reading something super fun. The characters, while doing their day-to-day lives, are really enjoyable and we have fun interactions between them. And overall, I do recommend this series. I think it's fun. I've been having a great time reading it and I'm so excited to read volume 6 in this series. If you have any thoughts on the series up to this point, if you have anything you want to say, if there's anything else like this series you think I would like to enjoy and read, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a great rest of your day.